This next story is called Katie Mom. Katie Mom was my great-grandmother, and when I was really little, she lived with us. Katie Mom used to get up in the morning, and she used to put on 4 dresses, several pair of underwear, a couple bras. She would always have several pair of nylon stockings on. She would put on her shoes, throw on her sweater and her little hat, and take her purse, and she would go off in search of her son, who had died many, many, many years before. And Katie Mom had wrinkles that started at her hairline and went all the way down to her belly button, and I knew every one. My mother and grandmother used to say that Katie Mom was infirmed in her head, and I never thought that Katie Mom was infirmed. I just thought she liked clothes, and a lot of them. We were out on the front yard one day, Katie Mom and I, and she was standing there, and she was looking up in the sky. And it was a beautiful summer day, and I was standing next to her. And she was staring at something up in the sky, and then she got real straight, and she said, "See, Kimmy? See? See the train? See the train? There it goes, see the train?" And I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and I said, "Katie Mom, I don't see the train." And she said, "There it is. Here it comes. Here it comes. See it? See the train?" And then I finally said, "I think I see the train, Katie Mom." And she looked down at me and she said, "You stay away from those trains and that railroad. Those hobos will get you." Another time when I was out playing in the yard on my swing set, I was swinging and playing, and this was after Katie Mom had died. And my mother and my grandmother told me that Katie Mom was in heaven and that she wasn't ever coming back. So I'm outside playing, and I'm swinging in the swing, and I'm swinging and I'm going really high, and you know, as you go up high you kind of look up, and I thought I saw something, and I looked up again, and oh my God, there's Katie Mom in the window, in the attic window. So I jumped off the swing, and I stood there, and I'm looking up at the window in our attic, and she was right up against the window, standing there in one of her black and white print dresses. And she was looking down at me, and she was watching me, and she was smiling. And then she waved at me, and I waved back. Well, I thought I had the biggest news ever. Katie Mom was back. Well, I was so excited, so I ran inside, and I ran into the kitchen. My mother was in there cooking something. And I ran in, and I said, "Mommy, Mommy, Katie Mom's back." And she said, "What?" And I said, "Katie Mom's back, Katie Mom's back. She's up in the attic. She's up there. She's been watching me swing, and she's been waving at me." Well, Mother said, "What?" And I said, "Come here, come here, come here, I'll show you, I'll show you." So my mother came out with her tea towel, she's drying her hands off, and we got outside, and I said, "Look, there she is." And Mother looked up in the window, and she said, "Well, I don't see anything." And I said, "She's right there. She's waving at us. She's up there. Can't you see her?" And my mother couldn't see her. And I know my mother wanted to see her, but she just wasn't able to see her. Well, I said, "Well, we have to go get her. She's up in the attic." And Mother said, "Kimmy, that's enough." My mother said that a lot to me. "Kimmy, that's enough." And I said, "No, we have to go get her. She's upstairs in the attic." So I convinced my mother to go up on the second floor. Further, I talked my mother into dragging this ladder out and putting under this little hatch that was on the ceiling. It was the access to the attic. So very begrudgingly, my mother put the ladder there, and she started walking up the ladder, and she pushed that little hatch up and moved it to the side. And she got up there, and she poked her head up there, and she looked all around, and she looked down at me. I'm standing at the bottom of the ladder, you know, just waiting for her to tell me that Katie Mom's coming back down. And she said, "Kimmy, Katie Mom is not up here." She was very irritated. And I said, "But I saw her. I know she's up there. Maybe she's hiding." And Mother said, "There's nothing for her to hide behind up here. There's not even a floor up here. She's not up here. Now that's enough of this." And I said, "But I want to see. I want to see." Well, finally, my mother, I think, knew that I would never hear the end of this until I could see for myself. Mother came down the ladder, and I went up, and I looked around, and there was no Katie Mom. And even I couldn't see her. And I could see that there was no possible way that she could be hiding anywhere. It was just a big room. Well, my little heart broke a little that day, and I never knew why she didn't allow me to see her again, but she didn't. And I can't sit here and tell you that she returned to me later on in life. That was the last time I ever saw Katie Mom. But the memory of that was something very special to my heart, that she came back and she was watching me, and I feel her presence often, even now at 58 years old. And I think that these experiences, well, let me tell you this. My mother sat me down that day, and she said to me, now listen, she said, Katie Mom is not up in the attic, and Katie Mom never was up in the attic. That is your imagination. You made that up. And I said, I protested. I said, no, I didn't. And she said, yes, you did. It's your imagination. She said, between the bird and these little friends that you're always talking about, and now Katie Mom, she said, I don't want to hear any more about this kind of stuff. Do you hear me? And I heard her tone of voice, and I knew that I wouldn't be permitted to really speak about these kinds of things again. I understood that very clearly. But I do remember these experiences of mine when I was little, and I think that these experiences were the hors d'oeuvres or the appetizers for what was yet to come in my life. So thanks for watching, as always. Bye-bye.